Hi everyone, I'm Jay, and today I want to talk about types of supporting material. I'll have some lists for you in this video, enumerating the types of supporting material. But the actual point I want to make before we get into that goes beyond lists. The point I want to make is this. It's important to use a delicate touch when transplanting a piece of information from a source that you found out in the world into your speech. There are a lot of things that can go wrong during the transplant. Let's say you're using a quote in your speech, and that quote comes from the middle of a book. You must first make sure you really understand the point the book is making, or you run the risk of taking a quote out of context and using it to argue the opposite of what the original author meant. Or, another example, if you're pulling data from a chart to support a point in your speech, it's trivially easy to pull the wrong number without realizing it. Like if you pull the median and you talk about it like it's the average, then any claim you would make in your speech would be inaccurate, even if the chart itself was credible. So, supporting material is one of the most interesting, fun, and challenging parts of public speaking because it's where you can show your skill the most. It is the heart and soul of the speech, the meat of the speech. The term supporting material generally refers to the subpoints that you have under every main point in your speech. Okay, here's a list of the types of supporting material. Stories or narratives, including personal stories, anecdotes, case studies, or historical narratives. Statistics, including percentages, ratios, averages, trends, and numerical data to provide evidence. Examples. Specific instances or occurrences to illustrate a point, real or hypothetical. Analogies, which are comparisons between two things to clarify or simplify concepts. Dictionary definitions. Opinions, especially expert opinions. Quotations. Comparisons and contrasts. Visual aids. Rhetorical questions. Jokes and humor. Polling or survey data. And last but not least, plain old facts. If you were to print out your speech, put it on the wall, and throw a dart at it, the sentence your dart lands on will undoubtedly fall into one of these categories. In your speech, consider how best to support each of your main points using tools from this list. Our text will include a set of do's and don't for the proper handling of each type of supporting material. Okay, so those are the types of supporting material. One thing we haven't talked much about yet is types of sources. Types of sources include things like books, magazines, newspapers, academic journal articles, and the official websites of credible organizations. In our class, the first speech or two might not require sources, but for the later speeches, the assignment sheets do call for a certain number of sources. I never specify that a certain type of supporting material be used, such as a story or a stat, etc. Just use what you think best. But sometimes I do specify that a certain type of source be used a certain number of times, such as academic journal articles. Okay, that's all for now. Thanks for listening, and happy speaking.